Yeah. Money make the world go round. I'm trying to get it all right now. Everybody worry about the crown big. Look, homie, I'm the man right now. Talking to a peon, kind of time we on. Jump roll like the kind of take eons. Got a little buzz, it's time to go beyond. Can't look back, no time to hit rewind. Yeah, she wants to do S class. I'm like, boo, you must ask. They pour way too much in your glass. Just move your hips like a hold up class. Hit the gab, I talk that gas. Strut like up and I walk that shit. When I'm up, that's it. I'ma start living reckless. Get that bag, I'ma walk like this. Yeah, I'ma walk like this. Hit that lane, I'ma walk like this. Walk in the spot, but they all get lit. So they won't flow, let me talk my shit. Every song bang when they drop in hit. Stand on the man, post stop, no miss. Over your head, next time, don't slip. Play your part, better read that script. Yeah, I'ma walk like this.
Hello.
What's up?
Hi.
Blammo.
You're fired.
You're fired.
You don't
No.
get to make that choice.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm the only one here who talks a lot. So. Do I? Great. You could have told me that before we went live, but here we are. I'm just going to yell. Because fuck. Anyway, today is very important because this weekend there just so happens to be an event taking place in St. Louis, Missouri. What's the date today? Is it the 7th? Is it the 7th? I don't know. Is it the 7th?
It's the 8th.
See, I don't even know what day it is. Okay, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, 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 okay. Okay. Right. So Backlash is in St. Louis, Missouri, on May the 10th. So we are going to predict it for you guys today. It is a 5-match card. So if anyone has the card up, we'll run through it right now.
Peyton, Aled says that nobody can hear you on the stream, but we can hear everyone.
Are you fucking?
He's done it again. He's
God,
done it
Are
again.
you fucking kidding me?
Peyton Cash, he's done it again.
He says he can hear everyone else. He just can't hear
I've done it again. I've done it again. I'm so fucking
What
stupid.
a fucking idiot.
I've done it again.
What a stupid idiot. He's done it again.
Can we get to the damn predictions?
All right. I got you.
Can you stop being a cranky little bitch, please, Noble? Thank you.
Okay, here we go. So again, Backlash is here. Our first match on this card: Becky Lynch versus Lana Valkyria for the women's IC title.
Knew you were going to start with
Yay.
that. Fuck!
I'm excited for this
Yay.
match.
A difficult one to start. Hooray. I'm so ecstatic.
Yep. So so basically
Ecstatic.
I have Ross's, Des has Aled's and Raul's, and Noble has Radio's. So I'm gonna go for our current Wrestle Arc champion Ross first. He has Becky Lynch.
I can see why he said that, yeah.
Alright. Des, what do you have?
Pardon me.
I have Becky winning.
Okay. Noble?
After thinking long and hard, I really want Lara to win. Because the way they push are really good. But sadly, Becky is going to win this match.
Okay. Who does Radio have?
Radio has Becky.
Okay. Vega.
The only way I could see Lyra winning is Bailey getting involved, but I'm going for Becky to win the title.
Okay. I am going for Becky as well. Liam.
See, it's very difficult to call because on one hand, Lyra's worked her socks off to even be given the opportunity to be the first ever WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. But when you have someone with the star power of Becky Lynch, you stick that title on her and you immediately elevate it. So it's a double-edged sword. I would love for Lyra to retain because, like Vegas said, the only way potentially she retains is if Bailey gets involved. But we're only a couple of weeks removed from WrestleMania. The story needs to breathe a little bit. I'm going for a Becky Lynch
Okay.
win.
All right. Des, who does Raul have? We're waiting.
For
What?
what?
Raul.
You kind of cut out when you said it. You
Yeah,
cut
yeah,
out
I
when you
like
said
kind
it.
of
Oh.
cut in and out.
Raul has Becky Lynch winning because he believes Bailey is gonna cost Lyra her title.
And for
Why would it be the other way around
It makes no
when
sense.
Becky Lynch is the one who attacked Bailey to even get into the WWE Women's Tag Team match at WrestleMania in the first place?
I know, right?
So I don't know why Bailey would then all of a sudden switch sides. Like, I don't get it.
all right,
But
and
still,
all right. Who does Aled have?
Becky's just winning. Aled has Lyra winning.
What? Okay.
He's got Lyra retaining her title.
Okay.
I mean, as I said, I could see this going either way. Either way, I'd be
Good.
happy with the result.
I generally think it could go either way.
Fair point.
Just personally, I want Becky to win.
Fair point, Aled. Fair point. All right. Next up, Fatu, McIntyre, Priest, LA Knight for the U.S. title.
You
And
can
their
look
first
at
names are Jacob, Drew, Damien, and LA.
Yeah.
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 Because he couldn't be bothered to say their full names.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm like so fucking cold right now. Fuck. I mean.
God damn it.
Hey, I'm gonna need to get it together.
All right, Liam, you're first.
Jacob
Going Fatu.
Fatu retaining Damien Priest because the other two guys are bigger stars than Damien Priest, aka LA Knight and Drew McIntyre. I don't think they can afford to take a pinfall loss to keep them looking strong. Damien, on the other hand, even though he did just lose at WrestleMania, he's not on the same level, in my opinion, as the other three guys. Jacob Fatu just won the title. He's going to retain it, and I think he will be a champion for a very long time.
Okay, I am also going for Fatu. Jesus Christ, spreadsheet, damn it.
Oh,
Ross.
oh.
Ross also has Fatu. Vega, who do you have?
Yaramin Fatu.
Yeah, I mean. You know what I mean.
Fatu as well.
Fatu retains, by the way.
Yeah, I know
Oh,
that.
gas, no brakes.
Des, who do you have?
I have Fatu retaining.
Noble.
I have Fatu, and I have a pending LA Knight.
Okay.
Not really.
Who does Radio have?
Radio has Fatu to retain.
Okay. Who does Aled have?
Fatu.
And Raul?
Ole, 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 Fatu.
And Raul?
Ole, 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 Fatu, Fatu.
Thank you, Liam. Anyways,
All right.
for Raul,
Fatu.
Unanimously in favor of the United States champion.
Fatu. Alright.
Yep.
Next up, Pat McAfee versus Gunther.
Murder! Annihilation! Absolute destruction!
Literally everything Liam said is what Pat McAfee's gonna get.
To him, because Gunther's winning this match.
Exactly.
Like, the only way Pat wins this match is that Goldberg might interfere to help Pat win the match.
Mm.
You don't know.
I think
it's more effective if Gunther wins and they do it afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Like, Goldberg comes out post-match.
Alright, so Vega, you have Gunther as well.
Yes.
Liam, also Gunther.
Gunther. Gunther. Gunther.
Noble.
I want to go with Pat so bad, but I have to go with Gunther.
If you ever pick Pat McAfee over anyone, you're dumb.
Des.
No, I feel bad for saying it because I just got told that if I say it, I'm gonna be called dumb. I've got faith.
I don't make the rules, okay?
He's gonna beat the shit out of Gunther.
Pat McAfee's nah. The structure of this match is that Gunther is going to beat the ever-living piss out of this guy for about 10 minutes. Pat McAfee might get a stretch of offense for about 2 minutes, and that's all we'll get.
I stand by my choice.
Oh yeah.
You call me dumb if you want to call me dumb. I'm okay with it. I'm kind of a thing.
Okay.
Alright, Radio. Noble, who does Radio have?
I said Radio also has Gunther.
It cut me on that
Well, you
first.
might didn't pick it up.
Ross.
Well, we can't read lips. We need the official audio registered on stream.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ross also has Gunther. Who does Raul have?
Raul has Gunther.
Oh shit. And Aled.
Aled has Pat McAfee.
Oh,
You can't be
at least-
serious.
Well,
I'm telling you what's on the card, okay?
Alright.
But I fucking hate Gunther with a fucking passion. I want him to get his ass kicked.
Okay.
if Pat wins, I'll be happy.
Alright. Next.
I think it'd be perfect revenge for what Gunther did to McAfee.
Fucking Liam's face.
What is Liam's face?
I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna crash out.
He looks so pissed.
Oh my god.
He looks so fucking pissed with that. Holy shit.
No one should be getting it all after he's just lost the World Heavyweight Championship to a fucking entrance and catchphrase merchant. No one.
Okay.
Let alone a WWE commentator.
Okay.
No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it, lads. I'm not. And if you think like, yeah, Goldberg might get involved and that'll be the only way he does win midway through the match, but Gunther should be beating the ever-living crap out of that fucking sorry excuse for a color commentator. And then, yeah, then Goldberg can come out because I think it's more effective. But here we are, everyone thinks Pat McAfee should be winning. Oh my God, what the hell? Sorry, Pat McAfee should be winning against a 6'4", 250-pound Austrian man who chops you to fucking death, huh?
He
In
is
what
going
fucking
off.
universe?
I can't breathe.
You done?
Yes, I can breathe.
The thing is, Pat never lost a match. He was a WWE.
I
so-
don't give a fuck if he's never
Fucking
lost a
Christ.
match. Because he has. He lost to Vince McMahon. WrestleMania.
That,
Yeah,
that does not even fucking count.
Yes, it does. It says Vince McMahon defeats Pat McAfee via pinfall on
It
the
was
card.
never a scheduled fucking match.
The bell rang, you fucking idiots.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
a scheduled
All right.
fucking
All right.
match.
All right.
It wasn't scheduled.
Pause.
The bell still rang.
Pause.
If the bell rang,
Pause
it's
on
an
that.
official match, you
Pause on that.
idiots.
We have to finish the rest of the card, and then you can fucking rant about. Go there. Next match: Penta Mysterio for the IC title. Oh my god! Jesus fucking Christ! You made me cry during a fucking rant. Jesus Christ! I can't fucking
I would
breathe.
defend Gunther with one of my dying breaths. I would.
You have all the fun you want.
Okay.
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 This hurt in a while.
Let's breathe. Let's breathe. Let's breathe. We have Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the IC title. Oh shit!
Dominic
Who's the
Mysterio and
first?
Penta. Dominic Mysterio and Penta. Okay.
I'll go first. I'll go first, and I say Dominic Mr. Retain. Whether you like it or
I
not.
agree.
Jolly good. Jolly good.
Ross.
I agree. Dominic Mysterio retains his title.
I'm sorry. I think I've killed Vega. I didn't mean to.
No, you also killed me at least.
That I can live with. You know.
Vega, you
That
little
I
Peyton.
can live with.
All right. I also have Dominic retaining. Vega, who do you have?
I'm also going for Dominic to retain.
All right. Liam, who do you have?
I have Dominic Mysterio to retain. Sorry, Penta.
All right. Who does Radio have?
Even though I preached the Sato Miedo, you know.
Radio also has Dominic Mysterio to retain.
Okay. Who does Aled have?
Aled has Dominic.
And Raul?
Or people.
He has it. This is what he sent me. He says Daddy Dom Dom's gonna win. That is what he has sent to my phone.
Alright, Raul.
Wrong direction.
Say what? Can
Raul
you
sent
repeat
to my
that?
phone that
What?
he's
Say
Daddy
what?
Dom Dom winning. Would y'all like
Oh,
to
you crazy.
screenshot?
Rahul, what's that about me? What's that about? What's that about?
Alright. Now,
Next.
one last time. John Cena,
Easy.
Randy Orton. One last time. For the undisputed WWE Championship.
John Cena's retaining.
Very good.
Alright.
Next.
Who does Raul have?
Raul as John Cena.
Aled?
Aled
He
has
also has Cena.
John Cena. Excuse me. Do you have his predictions? No, you do not. Shut up. But he does. He does have Cena.
Radio?
Oh shit, I'm gonna die.
He also has Cena.
Okay. Des.
I have John Cena winning.
John Cena.
John Cena. What
Vega?
a lot to say. Cena.
Get a big mouth, don't you now?
Vega?
I'm going for John Cena to retain.
Liam?
Well, this is maybe a lot of people were saying this should have happened later in the retirement tour, but when Backlash comes to St. Louis, Missouri, you put John Cena, you put Randy Orton in the ring at the same time, two biggest stars of each of their generations. Well, They're from the same one, but you get the point. Anyway, given that this is John Cena's first championship defense, I think he will definitely retain.
Okay.
And the date number, given he'll be on SmackDown tomorrow, I think he's at 26, 25 at the moment, something like that. He'll go down from 26 to 24, whatever it will be. And time will concurrently still run out, and then, this probably somehow go all the way to December still, I think. Possible. Not the title reign, maybe, but until at least. Yeah.
Me and Ross also go for Cena. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That's Backlash Predictions.
So basically, what could fucking decide it for all of us? It could be either the women's IC title and the Gunther McAfee match. Which I cannot fucking believe.
Still makes me laugh.
We have
makes me
a
laugh.
Liam
The
Grant.
fact that a Gunther and Pat McAfee match could potentially decide the Wrestle Arc Championship. Give me a fucking break.
Well, tell that to Daz and tell that to Aled.
Yep.
Y'all
Yeah.
can kiss the fattest part of my ass.
I mean. No,
Okay. Moving
What's
on.
next on the
Moving on for Backlash. This did happen, I think, during our week.
Yes, there's been numerous releases from WWE.
Releases. Yep.
Numerous
Ugh.
people such as Braun Strowman, Cora Jade, Caden Carr, Katana Chance, Gigi Dolan, which I'm furious about.
Yep. Fucking called it.
There's a few others as well, like some. I think Danny Palmer was one, but I hardly ever saw her work. So there's been a lot of releases in the past week. I think it's like up to 10 people at best, possibly.
The one release that does not make any sense to me is Cora Jade. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Cora J didn't make any sense.
I think it kind of does. Like, I think the reason they've done this is obviously for budget cuts, but the way I see it is that Cora Jade was only a utility player when she came back to NXT. Everyone theorizes she was meant to defeat whoever the previous NXT champion was, or before Julia, anyway.
Yeah.
And perhaps even before Roxanne Perez. But the fact of the matter is, Cora Jade, her injury record, even though people say she had one, I think she actually had two, because she had one knee surgery, was out from that, returned, did a couple weeks, was out again. But the fact of the matter is just, she wasn't being used in NXT. That's just the reality of it. And when choosing people to release, I assume Cora Jade's lack of usage was taken into account. But as I said, it's business, it's budget cuts, which I don't understand the budget cut excuse fully at all, because it's, they're supposedly making record gates and everything all the time, making millions and 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 millions of dollars, and you say, oh yeah, well, no, these are all done through budget cuts. Yes, they were. Yeah. But it's okay. Like, as I say, it's just the business. This happens all the time. All we can say is that the usual thing is, don't be a dick. These people have lost their jobs. Yeah, don't go out your way to tear them down. And I'm sure a lot of them, as I say, I think they'll be better suited elsewhere, to be honest, in terms of how they wrestle, especially in ring. Maybe in terms of building a character up, you never know. Maybe they'll actually find something when they're finding themselves again on the independent circuit. So, whether or not anybody else wants to chime in here, yeah, I'm the only one talking, so.
Yeah.
I'm just here to say that release for Cora Jade makes no sense. Like, you literally have, like, goddamn...
about Braun Strowman.
I mean, Braun Strowman wasn't
Again,
really
sort of thing like
utilized.
Cora Jade became a bit of a utility player on SmackDown, but I feel like the first thing he said he's done since that he's going to go and get surgery because, not being funny, the guy's knees are shot. You could tell every time he would do his run around the ring train spot, you could just see he was like struggling, like you could just see his knees doing sort of this. It was awkward. And again, I wish Braun Strowman nothing but the best, and he was very good in that role. You know, he managed to get people like Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu over, so for that, I give him credit. You know, especially in the last year and a half. But again, I can't say I'm surprised about that. Do you know what I mean?
And another person I'm sad that who's released is Dakota Kai. Like again,
Yeah.
she's injury prone. There is a good reason why she's released.
Yeah, but the problem is, I feel like while she's injury prone and she wasn't even out for injury last time, she was benched. Which is another thing Nick Khan said, by the way. Oh, we don't bench people. And then you bench Dakota Kai. So you might as well say damage control's over then. I mean, you can bring back fucking Asuka and Kairi Sane who are on the way back from injuries, by the way, and say, oh, damage control's still a thing. No, it's not. There's only 3 of you left. What's the point? You know? But then it's like Dakota Kai, right? Of the releases, she was probably the most talented. And she very easily could have still been a mid-card player. Because what do you know? There's mid-card titles now. You got the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship on Raw. You got the WWE Women's United States Championship on SmackDown, which, by the way, is being held by Zelina Vega. Fuck, I can't even speak. To which I say, why? To which I say, why? Chelsea Green was far more entertaining with it. At least she built a character out of it. Do you know what I mean? To quote Jacob Fatu. But then, as I say, Dakota Kai, that's probably the only release I don't really agree with. The other people, I can see going. I mean, I can see Braun Strowman potentially retiring from professional wrestling, doing something else. But if he wants to go on the Indies, he can. But then, you know, there was a tweet Matt Cardona put out, whereas like those people can do 3 things. They can continue to ride the coattails of their WWE name and continue to make money off of that, or they can go out there, make a name for themselves, change the game, do something different on the independents. Or, you know, I guess the third one was fade into obscurity, I suppose. But the fact of the matter is that most of those people, it's like, you know, you can say, like I say, Gigi Dolan especially, I don't understand that one because she was in a tag team with Tatum Paxley on NXT, and they were being featured all the time. But you know, as I said, nature of the business, they get released because of budget cuts, even though you're making millions and 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 millions of dollars. And I suppose it's because they're like, oh, I suppose they're going to bring in lots of new people from elsewhere and whatever.
And
But
bring people from frickin' AAA.
yeah, like
Maybe
why?
that's what it is they let all these people go to make room for the new people that they're bringing from AAA.
Yeah, but then if you're going to bring in Alberto Del Rio, who you
That's a
shouldn't
whole
be,
situation in itself.
you shouldn't be bringing that guy in. He's a piece of shit.
I
He
don't
got
even know what he
blacklisted from
did. I just know
WWE.
he's a piece of shit.
He got the second time he got fired from WWE is because he assaulted a member of the backstage staff. Then you know he's been blacklisted by them ever since. But now that they bought AAA, it was like, oh, WWE's already signed Alberto Del Rio. And then you got another source saying, no, they haven't, and they're going to pick up his contract when the purchase for AAA officially goes through. But I'm just like, don't bring him in at all.
Like I
Yeah.
really don't agree. I really do agree. Like I really do agree having. If they literally gonna bring Del Rio to WWE, I don't agree with this. No,
I don't
and you're
either.
right about him being blacklisted here. Like, if he is blacklisted here, why the fuck would you even bring that son of a motherfucking bitch to the WWE? Even though that he is apparently not. Like, apparently he's like suspended or well, I don't know what happened. What happened at fucking Mexico for crying out loud.
Well, I mean, he did some stuff there as well. He assaulted a crowd member, and I mean, shoot crowd member. I don't mean a plant who was a worker. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about, yes, but still, bring a fucking douchebag to WWE. I don't agree with here, man. Like, keep him out of this business, dude. Because there's no room for douchebags in the business. And if I want to, I'll even bring that douchebag an F. Stick it on his spine.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think a lot of the other people would be extremely welcome, in my opinion. Like, I think El Hijo del Vikingo could be very much in the same mold of what Penta and Phoenix are doing at the moment. You know?
Yes.
You could just bring him to have banger matches every week, and eventually you can stick him in storylines, because while Ray Phoenix is like, he doesn't necessarily have an official one, even though they're teasing stuff with him and Chad Gable apparently, and Penta's involved in that kind of, but Penta's still got Dominic Mysterio and Judgment Day business to attend to for the time being. So it's just like, just feel like it's but yeah, as I say, we feel for all those who have been released, we hope you will get back on your feet very soon.
Yes.
Go change the world, if that's what you want to do.
Go get murdered.
Yeah.
Did you say just go
Maybe
commit? Yeah, don't do that. We don't condone murder. We don't condone murder on the Wrestle Arc Podcast, and our reviews do not necessarily reflect those of Destiny Cash. Thank you. I'm kidding.
What's next? What's next on the agenda?
I think. Is there any recent news?
Reviews?
I guess.
I mean, if there's no more news to discuss, then why not?
What was that? That Japan star, Telfa, or how to say your name? She's signed with AEW.
Tekla.
Yeah, there was like that teaser.
No, Telfa.
Yeah, there was this teaser, like there's like a red spider on the top left side of everyone's screens there, which I think that will indicate that she's coming to AEW soon enough.
I feel like it's a good acquisition for AEW. I mean, granted, I hope that means with her coming in, there'll be a bit more focus on the women's booking, because while there's still one match on the show, I think the storylines and the feuds there are improving and the way people are being showcased, but you still need more than one women's match on your 2-hour TV show or your 4 hours of weekly programming that you currently have. So Tekla for me is, I feel like I've heard she's one of the better in-ring performers that Stardom has probably ever seen. She's like a hard-hitting, in the Julia mold, when Julia came from Stardom, obviously she's now been, I'm not saying she doesn't hit hard, because she probably still does, but it's like in the WWE system, you can't be as stiff, if you know what I mean. Like, they tell you to slow down, they tell you to do all this and that. So I think Tekla going to very much be able to still have, I can see it as well, because I've heard she's like quite artistic outside of wrestling, so she's going to bring a lot of maybe her own artwork to her own merchandise, and she'll probably have like a different outlook and viewpoint on the way directions for storylines in the women's division go, possibly even for herself. But as long as you don't abuse your power and book yourself to win, Mercedes Moné. Anyway, but yeah, no, I feel like, again, as I said, I think it's a good acquisition. I think she'll do all right, but hopefully she doesn't get the Diana Perazzo treatment, which is that you get thrust into a world title program, and then you're basically only ever seen on Collision sporadically here and there. You know?
Don't even remind me about the Perazzo treatment, man. But it's just disgusting, in my opinion, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, the women's division AW's getting crowded, but at the same time they could do with someone like Thekla, in my opinion.
Yeah, also I have never seen a Thekla match in my life.
Well,
You said- you said
I've never claimed to see a match of hers, but I've seen clips and it looks like she hits people very hard. So feels like a bit of a
Yeah.
technician too, so it's good.
Yeah.
I think
Anyway.
I've heard she's Austrian, so I've started to call her the female Gunther. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. That's a first. I mean, all right. All right then. Should we get to? If there's any more news to discuss here, let's get to the show reviews.
I think so. Show review time, baby.
Okay.
Let's start with last week's SmackDown.
Okay. I'll have a look. Give me 1 second. Can somebody please fill the silent noise while I do that, though? Anything else they want to potentially discuss? Because we can't have blank space, as they say. Journalism, okay.
Yep.
No blank faces. I don't have much to talk about.
Okay, anyway, I've got the results up. So, WWE SmackDown from May 2nd, 2025. With Backlash around the corner, of course, even though, it was at that point 8 days away or whatever. So on this show, we had the return of Aleister Black to returning to the ring for the first time for the first time since this 2021 against The Miz, and then there was a lot of other stuff going down. But it opened with Damian Priest got into a scuffle with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu backstage while LA Knight walked right past him and toward the ring. Lynn said he then picked up a microphone and said he showed some respect to his opponent for the night, aka Damian Priest. And then the Archer Infamy came out and said he had to get revenge against Drew McIntyre. So that is why he got involved. Knight still blamed him for how things went down, and then things get a lot more tense as they started throwing blame around. So they agreed to have that match right away instead of later in the show. A ref ran to the ring as the show went to commercial break, and then it was a very sort of even back and forth match, I guess you could say. But then Solo Sikoa ran interference and caused a disqualification.
That sounds
So
like Solo.
Stars.
And then LA Knight and Damian Priest worked together to take him out. Fatu then showed up to even the odds to take out his rivals, which means the United States champion stood tall. Next up, we had a tag team match between Pretty Deadly's Elton Prince and Kit Wilson against SmackDown's newest arrivals, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, aka Fraxium. So the high flyers had the upper hand at first, but then Wilson and Prince eventually found a way to use their size as an advantage in order to take control. And then both of these teams did, in fact, rely heavily on double team offense. So, we got to see a lot of 2-on-1 spots. Pretty Deadly had a good showing, but they made Fraxium look strong. But of course, since Fraxium had just arrived, they did get the win after Nathan Frazier hit a Phoenix Splash. Any comments on Fraction since they've been called up?
Yeah, real impressed
Sounds
on.
like really good.
I'm really impressed with Fraxium here. Ever since transition from NXT to the big roster, they look really impressive. Honestly, that they should be a future tag team champions.
I think they will be as well. Yeah, I agree. Moving swiftly on, we had Nia Jax come out and give a promo while she ripped into Tiffany Stratton. She was then interrupted right away by Naomi, who staked her own claim for a shot at the WWE Women's Championship. And then Jade Cargill came out and chased Naomi into the ring. As they began to brawl, so did Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. Nick Aldis eventually came out and booked a tag team match for later in the show. Which obviously would then, I think, was the main event. I could be wrong. But up next was Aleister Black's first match since returning to WWE. So it was just against The Miz, because Carmelo Hayes was in The Miz was flanked by Carmelo Hayes, I should say. So Black almost ended the match right away with a spinning kick, aka the Black Mass, for The Miz ducked it. He tried to use a cheap trick but Black quickly managed to counter after the A-lister got in a couple of hits. The Dutch Destroyer began to get more aggressive. The Miz swung Black into the LED aprons where we went to one commercial break and controlled the pace through the break, but then Black began to make a comeback a couple of minutes after we returned. A lot of people expected Black to get an easy win for his first match. I was a little surprised to hear so much a competitive fight against someone like The Miz, but this is not a negative. I would agree with that statement, Bleacher Report. The Miz is a former world champion, so he shouldn't be dropping to anyone anyway. I mean, it's 2025. He's not really doing much, so that kind of don't agree with. The Dutch Destroyer, though, aka Alistair Black, then cartwheeled out the skull crushing finale and hit the Black Mass to knock Miz off his. Oh, he has been kicked to knock Miz off his feet. Then he hit the Black Mass off the surviving distraction from Carla Hayes to get the win. So, one match back, one match won for Alistair Black.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go,
hopefully, I know, like, you know, you bring him in as a badass babyface to face someone like The Miz, but at the same time, I don't want to see him doing that all the time. You know, give him something of substance to do, please.
Yeah.
After that, we had Zelina Vega, who had just won the United States Championship the previous week, took on one member of the Secret Service in Piper Niven. Chelsea Green and Alba Fire were also at ringside to support Niven and tried to use her power advantage to push the champ, and Niven tried to use her power advantage to push the champ around. But however, Vega did use her speed to avoid her grasp and hit any kind of offense she could. Niven then took control after dropping Vega on her face. We returned from a break to see Vega trying to build some momentum, only to end up getting hit with a senton. The match wasn't even perfect or even close, but it was a surprising competitive fight that gave Niven more of a chance to shine than she had in a long time. Sadly for her, Zelina Vega picked up the win after Green accidentally hit Niven when trying to interfere. So I'm going to assume it was Zelina Vega won by roll-up because I can't quite remember.
It's by a roll-up.
Following that, we had Randy Orton come out to talk to the crowd about his feud with John Cena. He ranted for a long time about what a fake Cena is and promised not to let Cena retire with the title. The promo went in uninterrupted, and the Viper said Cena is just the latest legend he needs to put down. Any comments on the feud between Cena and Randy, the Star?
I feel like it's gonna be a good fucking match at Backlash.
The feud is good here. I still cannot wait for that match. Backlash.
I don't think it'll be anywhere as good as the first few matches they had 15, 16, 17 years ago. But not even 10 years ago, probably. But the build has certainly been sufficient, I'd say. Hopefully we get another bit of add-on to tomorrow night on SmackDown, where Cena's going to be in the building. So we kind of do need a bit more because he's been missing for the last couple of weeks. But as I said, you don't want to use up all those dates that he's got left straight away, and that's kind of the long-term story for Cena's retirement run. Next match, we had Rey Fenix taking on Santos Escobar, who had been put on the sidelines for a long time, serving as the manager of Los Garzas. Escobar hadn't approached Fenix earlier in the show, and they ended up having a disagreement that led to this match. They locked up, and Santos immediately went for a waistlock. These are the two men who know each other very well and are the epitome of lucha libre in WWE, so they worked well together right from the get-go. Escobar kept trying to tell Fenix they should join forces while he was hitting shots. They didn't use any kind of breakneck speed some people may have expected, but they kept the pace steady and sprinkled in the big spots throughout the match instead of just going for a big move they could. So they gave the match a bit more of a logical flow. So I agree with that. Everything they did looked great, and if WWE wants to extend this into a few, they should just be cracking the surface of what they can do. Fenix scored the win with a Meteora from the top rope to end a fantastic performance. So Rey Fenix bounces back from his loss against Chad El Grande Americano at WrestleMania.
In the words of a certain BW in radio, you better put some respect on his name.
El Grande
Exactly
Americano.
what Des said.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I put respect on a guy who's pretending to be somebody he's not?
I said it the other day. I'll say it again. It's Chad Gable.
It's not Chad Gable. It's probably
I'm
Omos.
telling you. I'm
No,
telling
no,
you,
I'm
motherfucker,
telling you,
check it.
it's James Ellsworth.
No.
Get
I
it
don't
right.
want to state the obvious, but El Grande Americano doesn't match the height of the Omos and doesn't match the same skin pigmentation.
What the fuck?
Are you
Yes,
sure?
It does.
It does.
Omos is
clearly
El
black.
James
Grande
Ellsworth. Get
Americano
it right.
does the same
I mean,
exact
Omos
pose
is
as
African American,
Chad
Nigerian American,
Gable.
No,
Nigerian.
no. It's not Omos. It's not Omos. It's Chad Gable.
It's Chad Gable.
It's James Ellsworth. Get it right.
No.
Yep, it's probably that too.
You know
Or
what?
probably
It's El Torito.
It's now Teresa. Fuck
that
off.
too. But
Honestly,
it's
it
not
could
Chad
be
Gable.
me. Who knows?
It is so Chad Gable.
Whoever thinks it's Chad Gable,
can't
get F.
you can't tell me that those two does the same exact move with the same exact fucking time.
Okay, moving on to the main event of SmackDown from last week. We have a tag team match between Nia Jax and Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. The two sets of rivals paired off and began fighting as soon as the bell rang. The ref waited until Jax and Tiffany rolled out the ring to declare Naomi and Jade the lead competitors. Cargill had the upper hand at first, but Naomi turned the tables and began taunting her as she beat her down. The match played out as expected. The rivals fought a little harder when they were in the ring with each other than they did against the other opponents to make those feuds feel more personal, and it worked for the most part. It was a decent match, but it definitely fell short of being what should have been the main event. The big moment when Jade powerbombed Jax for the win definitely closed it out on a high note, though. So Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton did in fact defeat Nia Jax and Naomi.
Yep. Good,
And I think
decent match.
it's logical for one of the opposite rivals to pin the other, or the opposite rival. So, for example, Naomi didn't need to be pinned by Jade. Nia Jax didn't need to be pinned by Tiffany Stratton. So what do? You have Jade Cargill be a big, massive, muscly woman and powerbomb the biggest woman in the match, and Nia Jax to get the win.
Yep.
So that was SmackDown, everyone. So please, somebody move on to Monday Night Raw. If you don't mind, I'll try and fill the gap with my own verbal nonsense. Here we are. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Will Ospreay having an opinion on WWE because, let's be honest, it's just his opinion, his professional opinion. It's an informed opinion. If you have a problem with it, aka somebody who does this podcast, you should grow up.
Exactly.
And yes, you can say, "Oh, you're defending Will Ospreay because you like Will Ospreay." I'm not. It's just it doesn't do anything for me if someone who has a professional opinion which you don't have, i.e., you are not a professional wrestler, you don't consume wrestling the same way they do, you shouldn't be talking shit. That's just my opinion, okay? Like, you can say, yes, AEW is not a good product. Yes, it isn't a good product, consistently anyway. I thought last night's Dynamite was very good, though. That's just my opinion. But, you know, it's just, it's nothing. It's nothing. You don't have to worry about it. And everyone's like, oh, can Will Ospreay please talk about WWE? Meh. He's just having a professional opinion. He's fine. It's fine for someone to not like something as a fan or a wrestler. It's fine. You know what I mean? Stop making a big deal out of it. And as predicted, the people who replied to those comments on Twitter were like, oh my god, look at this guy. Meh. Just shut up. I'm just bored of people saying people aren't allowed to have an opinion, especially when you're Will Ospreay and have a professional opinion.
Wrestling critics.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everybody
anyway,
has
Monday Night
opinions.
Raw, please. Monday Night Raw, please.
Monday Night
Yeah.
Raw. So I don't know
Or
what order.
Monday Night Raw.
So, the results for Monday Night Raw, May 5th, 2025. This last Monday. We opened the show with Jey Uso being confronted by Paul Heyman. I do not know what was said. I will know in the next couple minutes. But
I thought this segment was very good. I mean,
yeah, no, from what I'm seeing, the segment was a really, really good segment. Everyone's been really hype over Jey Uso since he won his title.
I mean, yeah, of course they have, but at the same time, I feel like Paul Heyman was the star of this segment. I feel like he
Mm-hmm.
He had a bit of a crash out, shall we say, but it was him
Yeah,
justifying his own actions.
Paul Heyman crashes out. Jesus Christ.
I think he justified the crash, though, because as I said, his reasons for siding with Seth Rollins are a bit solid, albeit flawed, because of the timeline of the events that happened in terms of when he was referencing the past. But that's besides the point. I feel like, Paul Heyman, as I said, is definitely an integral cog in the Seth Rollins Bron Breakker faction machine that's currently going on. But as I said, it's just Jey Uso said some good stuff, I suppose. But for me, Paul Heyman was the star of this segment.
He was definitely the star of this segment. Basically,
Yeah.
what I'm getting is Paul Heyman is calling out Jey Uso for Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that led to the main event later that night, which was Seth Rollins was challenging Jey Uso to a match for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then there was a segment a bit later on the show where Paul Heyman even said to Seth and Bron Breakker he bought the bait, basically. Like he wants to do it right away tonight, sort of thing. Moving on, if nobody else has anything else to say.
I got
So yeah,
nothing.
that's just all I got is that Paul Heyman called out Jey Uso for Seth Rollins, which led to the main event of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
I didn't get much else because I can't really hear it. I didn't watch Monday Night Raw, only because I haven't had time to watch it. I've been at work.
Yeah.
So everything I'm getting like verbatim right now.
All right.
After this first segment, we've got Jay McDonough versus Penta, which my boy Penta wins.
Yep. I thought the match was very solid. I think, Penta had some Judgment Day interference to deal with, as
I'm
you might
so
expect.
tired of the Judgment Day running together as a group. Like, I get it. You're the Judgment Day. That's how you work. But can't you just let your guy have a match by himself? Like, why does Finn gotta get involved? Why does Carlito get involved? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why
Because
are you
Finn-
Carlito? Why are you smacking around Penta?
Finn probably got involved because he still does not want to keep eyes off of that Intercontinental title at this point, or possibly get the fucking.
Well, he's pretending to be cool with. There's occasionally moments where he doesn't like his cool with Dominic, and then he'd be like, "No, it's all good, mate." You know what I mean? But then the long-term thing will be Finn Balor inevitably will turn on Dominic Mysterio, blowing the Judgment Day apart. So
Yeah, no. And then the kicker, get this. Chad Gable comes out. Chad
No.
Gable comes out to fight Penta, not the Judgment Day, which I think is kind of weird.
Yes.
But Penta fought him off. He dropped a Mexican Destroyer on McDonough and won the fight, which I'm proud of him. I think Penta has a lot of potential.
He does.
Yes.
He does. Now, my favorite part. Sheamus returns.
Yep. Thank
Big old
God.
Shaboos.
Thank God.
Sheamus versus Austin Theory.
Austin Theory. Yeah.
Austin Theory's already got.
This was actually it was actually a surprisingly more competitive match than I thought it would be, but Sheamus still got the win with a bro kick. So yeah.
My thing is, it wasn't supposed to be Austin Theory fighting Sheamus. It's supposed to be Grayson Waller.
Yeah, the tension between those two continues to build up, and they've been doing this storyline for about a year and a half, whatever it is. I'm getting kind of sick of it. Just pull the trigger on an Austin Theory babyface turn. Please, I'm getting bored.
Exactly.
I've been saying this.
Because it's going to lose its impact when it happens, I think, because it's just you've missed the opportunity to do it about 6 times or whatever.
I've been saying this couple of days now here, like, dude, stop teasing the freaking breakup and just pull the fucking plug and make Austin Theory turn face, or I'm just gonna lose it. Nobody made me lose the fucking product, man. Like Triple H, just do something, like pull the fucking plug and make Austin Theory turn face, or
Yeah, before we
Ribbon
move
of
on to
paper?
what was officially on the United States version of Netflix, what we'll say this is that Karen Cross joined Kathy Kelly for a promo where his growing connection with the audience was on full display, and his Devil You Know versus the Devils You Don't line was prominently used at the end. And he's calling his fans bad guys, something that is going to continue to get him over with the WWE Universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you say about Karen Cross getting over, whatever, if that's what you want to call it?
I think he deserved
It's-
to get it over.
Agreed.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean,
he's
we
Right.
already touched on his promo following WrestleMania the other week, but I think everyone's starting to come around to the fact that Karrion Kross is as good as he says he is. But it was like,
Yes.
oh, but then the bell rings. I'm like, yeah, the bell rings, but he's still solid. I don't see anything wrong with his in-ring work at all in the slightest. He may not do exciting, flashy moves. That's just what people think is good wrestling these days. But Karrion Kross isn't that kind of guy. He blends martial arts with submission stuff. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
if you don't understand that's how he's supposed to wrestle because of his background, that's a you problem. But I think Karrion Kross, for my money, is like one of the better characters in WWE, one of the better talkers in WWE, and I feel like he should be getting a push for a mid-card title at the very least.
Yes, like the dude used the whole fucking championship go to the NXT championship, which made it relevant. Like, I agree with you. He should have a mid-card title run. Like, instead of like just sit on the bench and do
I didn't
nothing.
say necessarily a mid-card title run, I just said a push towards a mid-card title, whether he wins it or not.
Push the mid-card title, yeah, never. Fucking... Anyway.
Moving on.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. Sheamus ends up winning his fight against Austin Theory. Good on Sheamus. We love Sheamus. After this, probably my favorite part was Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria got into a huge brawl. Started out as a talk, ended in fists.
Yeah, Becky Lynch lashed out the fans for booing her. Took all the credit for Valkyria's, success the last year or so. And of course, this drew out Valkyria, who called the man the Queen of Recycling, and reminded her that it was Valkyria who made history as the first women's Intercontinental Champion, not Becky Lynch. The title order in the format came to blows, as you already mentioned, and it ended with Lyra delivering the Nightwing and stood tall, which, as you know, doesn't bode well for the champion going into the title match in WWE Logic.
No, it does not. So that
does
definitely
not.
means your girl Lyra Valkyria is about to lose her belt from back.
I love Lara. I really do, but
Yeah, I
it
love
is
her
about
too. But
like it is about that time that she had to lose that championship.
Yeah.
Becky
Uh,
She's gonna lose it.
I wouldn't say it's about time. As I said, like when we were doing predictions earlier, I could see the match going either way. But if you are going to have Lyra drop the belt to Becky, who inevitably will elevate it because she's Becky Lynch and has a lot of star power, she's always been positioned quite highly and you're doing whatever. But I feel like if they are just going to transition into Becky Lynch and Bayley straight away, I feel like there still needs to be like a, because if Becky cheats to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, that means you can do a rematch between Lyra and Becky in whatever way you want to do that. But it's eventually Bayley's going to get back involved. But I feel like if you want to do Becky Lynch and Bayley as its own feud heading into the latter parts of the summer and into possibly the fall, you don't necessarily need the Women's Intercontinental Championship. So perhaps, you have Becky have like a small run with it, but then you have Lyra win it back at some point.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
Lyra has done a good job with it, like particularly in the early parts of her run where she was probably consistently actually having the best match on the show with whoever she was facing. So, but that's just my opinion on that. Obviously, I don't know if anyone else agrees, but
I completely agree. After that, we've got your women's world champion Io Sky versus Roxanne Perez.
this match was sick.
So I've been told. I love watching Io fight. She's She's probably slowly but surely becoming one of my favorite wrestlers. That and that little emote thing that she does is so funny.
To the eel thing.
I love
Right
her.
at the side of your head while smiling.
I love Io.
Yep. Io's always been great. Like, yeah, whether before WWE she was great, in NXT she was great, on main roster since she was brought in after being in Creative Purgatory to do damage control and whatever, she has been great. Since, cashing in Money in the Bank, becoming women's champion for the first time that she did. Great, Beating Rhea a few weeks heading into WrestleMania and being WWE Women's World Champion. Great. Io is greatness personified. And then obviously you put someone who could potentially be a future great, has the nickname of the Prodigy, Roxanne Perez. She's coming up from NXT now. You put her in a match, showcase how her abilities with literally, I'd say, the best women's wrestler in the world, and probably actually one of the best in the world, man or period. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Io Sky did win the match with a roll up, but it was I think the match was obviously built around Perez targeting the left leg of Io so she could, take away the base for Io to not do her high flying offense. So this is in-ring psychology, that's a good little thing to do. Which I feel like with most of Io's matches, you see a bit of psychology to it. And then after the bell, something happened.
Yeah. Julia comes out and Roxanne and Julia attack her.
Yeah, it was a 2-on-1 beatdown from the two, because in NXT those
It
two
really was.
slowly but surely moving together as a tag team, which I think is what they'll do when both of them are called up for a bit. They'll both have Roxanne and Julia be a tag team on the main roster. The 2-on-1 beatdown ensued, and obviously Rhea wasn't there this time to save Io because she was in Australia promoting Crown Jewel later this year. Hello, whoever joined, by the way.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Radio's here, making a surprise appearance.
Well, you said he would be here.
I just sped I went 90 to get back to do this. All right.
God.
All right. So where we at?
We're just recapping.
We're on roll.
We're recapping.
Recapping.
Oh.
Recap.
You want me to jump in or you got it?
No, I'm now finished.
Yeah, I think Des has got it.
Oh, okay. Keep going.
You can
You
can
got
interject
it.
whenever.
After this, we've got Rusev versus Otis.
Fucking killed that man.
Yeah. Or Otis. Get wrecked.
No, Rusev defeated Otis in a submission. It
In
Yeah.
dominating fashion.
really.
Yep.
Yeah, I still feel like for a match, this was my favorite match on Raw. By the way, I thought this was brilliant. This is two big meaty guys slapping the man meat. Vegas say the line.
Mhm.
Vegas not going to say the line because for some reason he's not talking and he's making me look stupid.
Yeah.
Thank you, you fucking cunt! Jesus Christ, you nearly left me for dead. Anyway. Anyway, the contest, the contest was, it was like they call, for some reason Bleacher Report is calling this an extended squash, but I don't sure if I necessarily agree with that, because Otis
How dare they.
literally mustered a comeback and then also had some other more offense, where they just hit each other. Eddie, fucking hell.
It's
Mhm.
not even a damn. It's not even close to be a squash. Like Otis got some offense.
Yeah, and it went longer than most squash matches do, by the way, as well, so.
I was more happy with what happened after.
I mean,
'Cause
yeah,
I-
Rusev got the win with the Accolade, which is a camel clutch submission hold. For the
Well,
elimination.
no, Akira Tozawa got in the ring and he got right in Rusev's face. I was like, no way is Rusev backing down from this little bastard.
Well,
and
he
then-
didn't. He did at first. He walked away and then the
He
camera.
did it at first and then he came back and he was like, "Ha, motherfucker."
Yeah, they just gave Otis another accolade, and then he had to be pulled off him by Adam Pearce and other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. I think this is definitely a good reintroduction to what Rusev is capable of.
Yep.
And that's being a destroyer,
A redeemer.
the redeemer. Yeah.
He says he's gonna
EBay.
save people.
Yep. And then next we have.
Gunther and Pat McAfee got on the ring together. Gunther vowed to squash McAfee at Backlash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got all
It was
of
particularly. Yeah, this was like. I feel like Pat McAfee said some good stuff. McAfee made a Walter reference, which I was like, I got that reference. Yes, thank you. And then McAfee said, "You don't want any more. You've gotten too damn comfortable." And then this is like for me, like one of the best lines for Gunther that he's ever said. As I said, I feel like recently, especially in the last year or so, he's got really good at his promo stuff. But this line in particular is like, chef kiss. It says, "Saturday, only by the grace of God, will I lift my arms off your throat." Which was said to Gunther to close the segment.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like, while like I haven't been sort of critical of Pat McAfee being Gunther's first feud after losing the World Heavyweight title to Jey Uso, I feel like after this segment I'm sort of... Well, my general hype for Backlash isn't great in particular, but in terms of just like, I'm going to be excited to see Gunther murder Pat McAfee for a little bit. Who am I to complain? But yeah, I just thought for a promo segment, this was... Both guys did a good job, you know? Both said some good content.
Well, for me, I'm kind of getting hyped for that match now because I know that Gunther is going to take that little man and fucking destroy.
I don't think Pat McAfee's a small man, to be fair. He's pushing 6'2" at least, right? So
He's not. McAfee will get some offense, but Gunther's gonna fucking choke his ass out.
that's what I said though. Like I said in the predictions, like Pat McAfee's gonna get like a stretch for a minute or two where he has offense, but then the majority of the match is gonna be going for beating the piss out of him. So
That is not what Aled and Des would say about this.
yeah, but it's true. The structure of the match, I can already see it in my mind's eye. You know, I'm saying, go for it. Beat the piss out of Pat McAfee. Thank you.
I see Pat McAfee with red marks all over his goddamn chest from how badly he's gonna get chopped the fuck.
Might even have a handprint or two on there as well. On his pasty white chest.
He gonna die.
The boy gonna die.
Let's just be for real in here. The boy
The
gonna
boy
die.
gonna die. The boy gonna die.
Let's not fucking sugarcoat it.
Yeah, let's not sugarcoat kind of came with shit or whatever the lines. You know?
I mean, to be fair, we said that he was gonna die when Adam Cole and him faced out, and he put on a performance.
He sure did, yeah.
But this is a whole different specimen, and
It's the ring get it up. 6'4", 250, or whatever the hell.
this is a big man that knows how to drop kick.
Yeah.
Versus a guy who knows how to punt.
Yes. Maybe he will.
I'm gonna go with the big man that knows how to do a double drop kick.
Yeah, big T-Rex drop kick.
Wait, did you guys? Or wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry. Did you guys talk about the Paul Heyman thing?
Yes.
Okay, I want to point something out because that pissed me the fuck off. He said he built the bloodline. I was like,
Yeah.
Paul, I want you to recorrect that statement, boy, because you're about to get destroyed again.
But I was like,
Because-
I'm not going to say the line I said off air last night while we're in BC because it's not PG.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Like
What?
Roman and his family.
All right, type it. I'll say it. I don't care.
Like Heyman's just saying random shit.
I've already had my one rant for the podcast, so I'm not doing it again.
No, send it to me and I'll say it. Damn it. Damn it.
Main event of Raw.
Main event of Raw.
Oh yeah, the
Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso.
For the World
Man,
Heavyweight
was
Championship.
Man, was this a match? Started out with just Jay and Seth. Braun Breaker was there. Then all of a sudden, Sammy comes out. Sammy and Breaker get into it. Ringside, it was great.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie here, because I know Aled said that this match was just boring, but this match, you shut up. My fucking Alexa went off. This match, I honestly thought Seth was gonna win the damn thing. I legit did. I thought with all the bullshit that was happening in it, I was like, oh my god, Seth is about to win the fucking thing.
He won the match by disqualification. But because of a certain
I don't really count that as a
person.
qualification.
Well, because Rollins won by disqualification, Jey Uso was still the World Heavyweight Champion. The CM Punk, though, was the reason for the disqualification.
Fucking A.
You know, you had to look in my eyes. And then Punk just came out swinging with the steel chair, you know.
He's also a liar.
Is he?
Yeah, he said he was on vacation a while back.
Hmm. Well, maybe they're like, hey, Punk, do you want to come in and do something? It was like, okay.
He was
Have to tell
like,
me
eh.
twice.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me twice. I'll come and hit Seth Rollins.
Like, I don't get why Aled said this match is boring. I think it's a good match.
Well, I'm not directly
you know it's
quoting
good
him.
when
I
Seth
knew
Rollins
he said that
is
this match was just blah, but
It was overbooked nonsense in the best way, in my opinion. I think the other reason it was a good match is because Seth Rollins made Jey Uso look quite good, to be honest. Yeah. But then, after the show went off the air, Jey Uso, who was, you know, sort of dapping up the fans, thanking them for their support, he was punched in the face
by
by a man
who?
in a black hoodie. The
Who
man in
was
the black
it?
hoodie pulls his hoodie down to reveal a blonde mullet-looking ass, Logan Paul.
Oh my god.
And then after that, you know, Logan Paul goes into the crowd. He's like, wait, let me giggle, But yeah, so, you know,
I hate Logan.
it just basically when we thought, you know, they were building Jey Uso and Logan Paul to Backlash, it probably means they're actually going to do it at Saturday night's main event instead, along with Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn tag match. I would have thought, because Saturday night's main event is in a couple of weeks. So, but no, for Raw it was a okay show overall. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was
Above average.
It got a 7 out of 10 from me. But yeah.
I said the main event kind of saved it for me, so I said that it was an 8.
I gave it some mainly because there was still some stuff I thought maybe could have been a bit better. But I was looking for a bit more substance. But I get when you don't have certain people around, like you Liv Morgans and you Rhea Ripley's and whoever else, I guess.
Yeah,
Roman
I guess.
Reigns.
I'm not gonna lie, the whole Judgment Day stuff without Liv is kind of.
Yeah, she does hard carry, to be fair.
True. I mean, other than Carlito, who's just there.
Hilarious.
Yep.
She's still hilarious. Not our truth hilarious, but hilarious. But then we'll move on to NXT.
Yep. and the show begins with TNA World Champion Joe Hendry and the NXT Tag Team Champions Hank and Tank against Dark State.
Fucking A.
Greatest triple turn of all time, by the way, you know, to the Joe Hendry song. Perfectly in sync, boys. Loved it.
Yeah, but when the match
Joe Hendry.
when the match is already like
Full
assuming
swing.
yeah, fucking Trick Williams appeared and took out Joe Hendry, a fucking motherfucking asshole, that allowed Dark State to destroy Ledger to win the match. That means the winner, Dark State.
Boo.
Fuck you, Dark State.
Discount retribution. Emu Shield.
Get the
Team
fuck out of
Shield.
here. Go to the no
Wish
fun
dot
zone
com.
here.
How dare you? That's
Retribution.
disrespectful to the Shield. How dare you?
Wish.com retribution. Next.
Next, we got Kalani Jordan against Zarya.
Yeah, it was a
Two-
decent little match.
Yeah, about the two of the brightest young stars in NXT, which ended with the F5 to throw a lifeless Kalani Jordan
Brock Lesnar.
and Zarya pinned her to end the separate contest. Zarya beats Kalani Jordan.
Did someone go for a barricade in this match?
Yes.
She did. At some part of the match, I believe the Women's North American Champion Sol Ruka saved Kalani, but then she held her and took the position until Zarya speared Kalani through the barricade.
Oh, so she basically inadvertently helped Zarya without meaning to be a dick, basically. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And then-
So, I remember looking up at the time thinking, what the hell just happened?
And then got ourselves the 25-man battle royal to become the number one contender for the NXT Championship at Battleground.
Well, yes, and we had an appearance from Elijah.
Yeah. Never
Yeah.
thought to see
Yeah.
it.
Walk with Elijah.
And then someone
Never-
known as Kevin Owens, who's currently got neck surgery, is probably somewhere crashing out, realizing there was a fourth member of that family.
Yeah. Never thought to see the day to see Elijah back in WWE. That is awesome.
His name is Elijah.
Yeah, during the
I'm
match.
not gonna sing that whole song today.
Yes, you are.
His
Yeah,
name
during
is
the match.
Elijah. He just wants to sing and play guitar, but Hendry took his job. Hendry took his job. No. Hendry took his job.
Yeah. During the match here, Trick Williams began to clear the ring of NXT TNA involved in LFG talent. But
I think Zach Wentz was in there as well.
Zach Wentz is in this match. But the TNA World Champion Joe Hendry returned to the ring to exact payback from earlier tonight, which Elijah eliminate Trick Williams and the Trick and attack each other again.
Yeah, they were brought backstage. But then the winner was a big shock to everybody, I thought, including myself.
Yeah, I'm stunned as well. The winner actually was Miles Bourne from
no quarter
Catch
catch
Crew.
Yeah. I think this is a huge moment for him, because this means, while I think Obafemi probably will beat him at Battleground, I feel like, the fact that even got a person who's hard of hearing challenging for NXT's most important championship in the men's division is a good thing for
Yes.
it.
Wait,
Like-
hard of hearing. What?
Miles Bourne is partially deaf. Miles Bourne is partially deaf, so yeah,
That's pretty
he's
cool.
hard of hearing.
I cannot take anything away from Miles Bourne. Like, that is like great.
Well,
great
the one
performance.
guy who did was Charlie Dempsey, because he's like, I'm going to challenge Obafemi. And then Miles said, respectfully, I've got this one. You know what I mean? And Oba said, I'll see you there. So
Yep.
that happened late in the evening.
And then next match, Jada Parker versus Carmen Petrovich, which that didn't end well. Jada Parker wins, but after the match, Parker keep beating Petrovich down, only for Thea Hale to push her out of the way and take the hypnotic herself.
So yeah, it seems like Colin Petrovich and Thea Hale are going to become a pair now, I think.
Some sort of pair, yeah.
Well, it gives, well, I suppose A gets Thea back on TV, which is always a plus, and then, on the other hand, it also probably gives Colin Petrovich more TV time by putting her with someone who's been in prominent positions on NXT before, so, quite frankly, I don't see an issue with it.
Yeah, and thank goodness
You
that,
know,
that
I would like to see if they do something a bit more, but that, you know, at the same time, it's like, Thea's on TV is good, you know.
Yeah, thank goodness that they had to get rid of the fucking Petrovich and the Adonis story. Like, I'm not a fan of that, honestly.
Well, that's over, fucking fine, so.
Anyway, on to the main event. Julia versus Jordan Grace. Noah contendership for the NXT Women's Championship at Battleground. Which Jordan Grace muscle up for beast mode to win the match, and after the match, Stephanie Bakir arrived at the scene and stared down her Battleground opponent, Juggernaut herself, Jordan Grace, for Battleground. That's NXT.
I thought that match was spectacular, actually, but at the same time, there was a couple gnarly bumps, specifically when Jordan Grace was delivering a couple moves to Julia that have received criticism on Twitter, but the fact of the matter is those people have probably never seen a Julia match before, particularly in Stardom, where people were landing questionably on their heads and whatever, but it's like, those two clearly had a plan to go out there and hit each other very hard, and what do you know, they did. So, yeah.
Each other hard is an understatement there.
And then I feel like a Battleground that's going to be good. But anyway, we'll move on to AEW Dynamite, which was last night. So, May the 7th, 2025. The show opened with Hangman Adam Page, who advanced to the final to face Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing on May 25th, saying he's finally putting Swerve Strickland behind him, even if he could never forgive or forget. He then turned to Will Ospreay, who arrived with a microphone. The aerial assassin explained that he knew about the Cowboys' journey, even referencing his time with the Dark Order, taking a group of misfits and bringing them together, lifting them up, making them do cowboy shit. There was a good line by Ospreay where he said, "It's not about your redemption, it's about my ascension," involved in there. And then the Don Callis family interrupted. Ospreay laid out a challenge that he and Hangman would face any two members of the group next week on Dynamite, after the two teams almost came to blows. And even Hangman and Ospreay looked like they were going to hit each other at one point. Yeah. So, this is a good way to build hype for their upcoming match at Double or Nothing. I'm looking forward to that. Next, we had a championship eliminator between Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, and Anna Jay. After a competitive battle, Megan Bayne arrived to destroy everyone until Harley Cameron came in running with a pipe to send her packing. With Bayne out of the way, Toni Storm took Anna Jay out and locked Penelope Ford in a chicken win for the submission victory. So this could have been an easier way to, I suppose, get Toni Storm another challenger. But, as per usual in AEW, even though it has happened once or twice, no one wins a championship eliminator match. So, there's that.
No.
What's that?
And then we had a little segment where MVP called another tag team to step up to the Hurt Syndicate. Top Flight arrived to call their shot, but MJF beat down both Dante and Darius Martin, where MJF inevitably then shouted at them, "I hurt people." And then Bobby Lashley said he'd have an answer for the Cell to the Earth next week about whether he gets the thumbs up or the thumbs down still. So a short and sweet, effective segment, allegedly.
I
Then there was another sort of Will Ospreay interview from Renee, which was interrupted by MJF saying that he would be like, my AEW World Championship, that's what you're going to be hopefully challenging, you'll keep it warm for me should you win. At all in, basically.
see now. This is where now I want to point this out. Me and Liam, we had a verbal.
I won't say it was a disagreement, but I was just telling you,
Yeah.
it's like you were saying, it's like, oh, just give me that match. It's like, it's happened twice already.
Yeah, I know, but I meant with the world title involved, not with
Yeah.
some mid-card piece of crap title that I don't think they even reference anymore.
We never know, that maybe when Ospreay's AEW World Champion by the end of All In, maybe the first feud is MJF, and that's what they do at Forbidden Door.
They better
Revisit
fucking
that.
do that. I want it.
But Ospreay even warned him, I don't want to revisit this. And then the Don Callis family challenged the Outrunners to find partners and fight the full force of the stable. And then Alicia Ati also tried to get the answer from Bobby Lashley, but the Almighty received advice to stay silent, and his answer from legal counsel, Harrison Landau. Who the fuck is that?
Yes.
Then we had an ROH TV Championship match, the defending champion Nick Wayne versus Rhino, who was, advertised to appear before the show, since they were, in fact, in a very nice venue in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
So the match was alright, I suppose, but eventually Nick Wayne won to retain the ROH television title. And Tony Schiavone received a note early in the night that Wayne would face someone from Christian's past for the ROH TV title. Well, that's, of course, that's where Rhino came in. After the win, Christian drops Wayne's title on the mat in disrespect. After that, we had a little 8-man tag, which was Swerve Strickland, Mike Bailey, and Mark Briscoe versus the Young Bucks and Ricochet. Again, another bit of a chaotic match. There's bodies from people flipping and flying everywhere. Then, you had Okada. I don't think Okada knows. Swerve Strickland took the pin, so the Young Bucks and Ricochet defeated Swerve, Mike Bailey, and Briscoe. So it was a 6-man tag. My apologies. Ricochet asked the Young Bucks to follow his lead against Swerve, even though apparently the Young Bucks were in the Death Riders' locker room. Why? Please, no crossovers. I know they did that at Dynasty and whatever, and it makes sense for the story going on.
Well,
but,
you
anything
just
Death
better
Riders do
fucking
is
prepare
boring.
for a crossover.
Yep. Then we had the Jamie Hayter sit-down interview with Renee Paquette. Jamie Hayter sat down to explain why she does not want to be compared to Mercedes Moné. She saw the CEO as too entitled and not worthy of Owen Hart's legacy. And then Moné attacked Hayter and the two brawled into the arena, while Hayter sent the CEO running at first. Moné snuck around, laid out Hayter and locked her in a statement maker. Hayter and Moné have, in fact, actually, I feel like this feud's been very well built, actually. I'm quite looking forward to the Double or Nothing Owen Hart final thing. But Jamie Hayter should win. That's my opinion. But probably won't happen. Because Tony Khan, his nose is so far up Mercedes Moné's butt crack. It's just not gonna happen.
Like that. She needs to lose here at some point. People quit making her seem like she's indestructible. Like, come on, make her fucking
Not being
lose.
funny, she has a different AEW title that she needs to defend. The TBS title. Like, she should be concentrating on that. So, in my opinion, it'd be a good idea, especially after it's been, nearly two and a bit years since Jamie Hayter faced Tony Storm and lost the AEW Women's World title to her. I feel like maybe you need to revisit that,
Yeah.
Hayter continues to, another good thing about Jamie Hayter is that she continues to lean in her wild, colourful throwback outfits, no matter how many times she is compared to Scooby-Doo. And then Chris Statlander tried to apologise to Willow Nightingale again.
Why
Yeah,
did
Willow
she
wants to
keep
fight
getting
her.
called that, by the way?
Because she looks like Daphne. Ginger hair, and in the middle parting going on, whatever,
Oh.
the dresses and whatever, and the fluffy coats and all that
I was
stuff.
wondering why she was getting called that.
I think she was even wearing
"Ah."
like one of them, the wraparound scarf-looking things that look like ties, but
Oh,
they're
yep.
ties that look kind of
Yep.
scarves or whatever. She was wearing one of those at one point, I think. Then we had a championship eliminator, which was Kazuchika Okada versus the Jet Kevin Knight. Rush Roosh attacked Kevin Knight during his entrance, and then Speedball made the save, chasing Roosh away. But then Knight's the one to compete, and she fought from behind largely in the match against Okada. Okada, however, did win with the Rainmaker. Which means another... Yes. And earlier in the night, apparently, the reason Roosh attacked Kevin Knight is because he cost him his chance at $100,000 on Collision.
That's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money. Okada likes polite, being sarcastic, and any concern with his opponent's well-being. Then in the main event, we had Samoa Joe versus Claudio Castagnoli, which was one in a back, even though this was like back and forth and technician power stuff, whatever, strong, steady pace. Samoa Joe won with the Koki in a clutch, and then the Death Riders, has got involved, even though they were chased off, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, a good episode of AEW Dynamite, I thought. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely better than most recent weeks, but I think apparently a lot of people, I don't know, I might get a bit of flack for this, even though I still kind of don't like the Death Riders thing, but I'm going to give them credit and say that the angles recently have been slightly better. Only slightly, but...
I'm going to be honest with you here. The Death Riders thing needs to come to an end.
And it
I
will
totally
all
agree
in.
with you.
Like,
here.
And it will
you
all
don't
in.
agree with me.
It will
I do
all in.
agree.
It will end it all in.
It's just, it's getting kind of stale for me.
It will end it all in.
It fucking better.
Yeah, pretty much stale, like you said.
It will end it all in.
Better.
Anyway, that's all the show recaps. There's no other news to speak of, so...
Did you talk about the Javon Evans Ricochet thing?
That's not really news.
We have not.
What do you mean?
don't really-
That's some
I
wrestling
don't-
beef.
I don't want to talk about wrestling beef.
Why not?
Because it's not news.
That's news.
It's not news.
Wrestling beef is news. God damn it.
No one cares.
They're from two
don't
rival
care.
companies. That
I don't give a fuck.
Hi.
I don't care if Ricochet's in AEW, and I don't care if Javon Evans is saying, "Oh my God, look at you! You now work for a crackhead." Ha 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 ha.
It's
I don't
still,
give a
it's still
fuck.
wrestling news.
It's not though. Just
It is,
gossip.
though.
Why is it
What do you
news?
mean gossip? It's not
stupid.
gossip. It's all over
stupid.
Twitter.
It's fucking stupid.
You and me about to have some
Got a
beef here in a
20-year-old
second.
arguing with like a 36-year-old man. No one gives
Listen, I'll
a
give you
fuck.
booth like Fogo de Cal, okay? You don't want to fucking go there, Chan.
Javon Evans didn't even stand on business anyway. He had to delete the tweets because WWE were like, yeah, don't do that, delete them. Because we have to keep your goody boy image up, don't we? Yes, we do. Ha ha.
Goody.
Fucking dumb. Even though I'm highly critical of Ricochet's Twitter behavior, and that was probably another result of his Twitter behavior. And it's like, Ricochet, please, for the love of God, stop being chronically online, please. Otherwise, you're just going to invoke people like Javon Evans, etc., talking bad on your bald ass.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
can I just say one thing about it?
Go on then.
Like Ricochet is sitting there taking shots at Javon from learning under Triple H and Shawn and them, right? But
Yeah.
he also learned under those guys.
Well, that was the point. He was saying, while you were 12 years old, I was learning from HBK and winning titles, and then Javon's response was,
Which
well,
I'm
now
not
you
gonna lie,
are, now you work for a crackhead in front of 2,000 people or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie, I sat there for a minute and I was like, what fucking
Yeah.
world titles did he win?
Yeah, but it's like, I get Javon Evans has wrestled in front of like tens of thousands of people every other month or whatever for NXT's pay-per-views, but you only work in front of like a few hundred at the PC every week. So, on TV, 2,000 versus 200, it's 10% more.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I just sat there for a minute and I was like Ricochet sitting there bashing him, but yet I'm also sitting there wondering what fucking world title did he win?
I'm kind of hoping what's actually happening is like this is all a work, and then Ricochet's just DMing people's like, do you want to have some Twitter beef for some fun? I just go, yeah, all right. That'd be the funny.
What did Ricochet win for world titles? Because
nothing.
that's what I was questioning. I was like, wait.
Underground. They weren't
I was like,
talking about
he's-
world titles. They're just talking about championships in general, which Ricochet has won.
No, he said world title.
Well, he was NXT North American champion. He wasn't NXT's main champion. He hasn't won a world title on WWE's main roster. He was an Intercontinental champion, tag team champion. Maybe US. I can't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
No world. No world title.
Vega, I thought you were here.
I was here this whole time.
And no world championship.
He been here this whole time.
You just can't see me because I'm John Cena.
He's the John Cena of Wrestle Arc. Can't see him.
Yeah.
You can't see me. My name is Vega. The
Exactly.
franchise gonna
It's
Vega now.
gonna speed run your ass. You can't see me. Vegas time is now.
Because I gotta go fast.
Okay. Why'd you have to ruin it with some Sonic shit?
What?
God
It's
damn it.
true.
I thought it was funny, personally.
God.
Gotta go fast.
Yes.
Gotta go fast.
Vega, do you go fast?
I do.
He goes 90 on the freeway. Just like you.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not gonna lie, when I was slowing down, I saw my speed, I was like, oh.
Maybe you were stressed.
No, I just wanted to get the fuck home.
Fair enough.
Alright, so,
That's the podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
about
blame
it.
him for it.
We haven't done a little sponsor reference thing, by the way, so might have to do that. Who knows?
Sponsors. There you go.
What?
That's how you do it. Sponsors. See?
Good.
I don't have a specific read for them this week.
Okay, we don't have any specific reach, so we're sponsored by, and then we'll get out of here.
Oh yeah, okay. Check out the sponsors in the description below.
Yeah.
See?
And then check out our our merchandise at TeePublic or TeePublic.com.
Yeah, we're
Looks like you just
currently
bought that
working
first
on trying to get
one. That back up
uh,
and running. Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Then everybody's socials are down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're looking forward to Backlash, let us know down below. But for now, from me, Liam, Destiny Cash, Thomas Noble, Christian Vega, BWN Radio, and Peyton Cash. We'll see you on Saturday, where we might be live streaming
Hopefully.
Backlash.
Hopefully.
Why?
Bye bye.
bruh.